Hello everyone, myself Piyush Kumar. Today I'm here just to have a discussion on history as an optional paper. So here I'm just trying to discuss everything in a very brief way, and I'm just trying to discuss that how to somehow develop or how to somehow understand this paper or finish this paper in a way that someone can score good in history optional, right? So this is the basic idea of this session. So now there are a few things I have already written here, and one by one I'll just try to discuss about all these things. So the first thing, when it comes to history as an optional paper in UPSC, that's very important, because the basic objective of picking up or choosing any optional paper is very clearly that to clear the UPSC or civil services examination. That's the idea which we do have. So once we are having this idea, and that is why we need to understand that what is the performance of any particular or a specific optional paper, that's important. So when it comes to history as an optional paper in UPSC, I think if you have if you haven't seen the performance of this particular subject or paper, in that case I think you must go to the website of UPSC and you can check the annual and you can check the annual reports of UPSC, and then you'll be able to understand that history as a subject is performing very good in UPSC. So initially, of course, the performance of history was much more better as compared to the present situation, but it does not mean that in the present scenario history has started performing bad. So if you'll see, in that case you'll find that out of 1000 students, around 100 students are still clearing UPSC with this optional paper. So there is a very good result with this particular optional paper, and in fact in both the mediums, I can say Hindi and English, history is still performing good. So as far as its performance and UPSC is concerned, so I think anyone should not have doubt that yes, history is still performing good, and that is why one should definitely select history as an optional paper. Now when it comes to selecting history as an optional paper, there are some misconfusions or misconceptions, some misconceptions also, because of what people are not choosing history. Now what are the misconceptions which are very popular with this optional paper? That it's very factual. Yeah, this is a very popular misconception, that yes, history is very factual subject. So I think it's all about the understanding or a kind of misconception that somebody is trying to get history as a history factually. The second misconception, that it's a very static and boring paper, right? So there was no sort of dynamic thing in history, and that is why it seems boring. I think both the things are incorrect, because if you'll see the questions being asked in the present days, in that case you must notice one thing, that now they have started asking the questions which are based on new trends, new approaches to understand or write history, and that is why if you think that it has nothing to do with present, right, I think that's completely wrong. The basic objective for reading history is very simply that we can learn something, something from history, that we can understand our present in a better way, and the most important thing, that we can shape our future in a better way, right? So this is the reason because of what we people are reading history, and that is why these confusions are very wrong. One more popular confusion, that history is least scoring. I think this is a very well spread rumor that history is least scoring, because if with any optional paper, if you're scoring, or in any optional paper, if you're scoring around 300, so that paper cannot be considered as least scoring. Yes, there were some people, they are not able to score good, and the reason is very simple, because there are certain problems with their approaches, right, their way of understanding of the subject, and this is the reason because of what they are never able to score very good in the optional paper. But at the same time, I must say, your approach, your direction, if it is in the right way, in that case definitely history is not least scoring, as people are scoring more than 323, around 330. So I'm not saying it is possible for everyone to score more than 330 or something like that, but any optional paper where you have been scoring around 300, so I think optional is not the reason because of what you are not able to clear UPSC. Of course 300 is supposed to be a very decent score in UPSC mains, and if somebody has scored 300, so I think he or she has secured his rank in the final list, and that is why this is also a misconception, and that is why you should always avoid this misconception, right? Now moving to next, like when it comes to the reason because of what all these misconceptions are there. So that is why, I have just got this category here, that this subject needs to be understood properly. So one needs to understand history rather than cram it. So if you'll keep on seeing history as a very factual kind of paper, in that case definitely your approach would be of cramming or memorizing the subject. So if you keep on, keep on doing the same thing, trying to, if you'll keep on trying to, trying to memorize it, cram it, in that case definitely this is not going to pay you properly. So it is one subject that you need to understand, and in fact the conceptual understanding, it's very, very important. And I don't know why people are taking it in a, in a way that is a highly factual paper. Rather, we need to understand the gradual developments which are happening in different aspects of society. That includes polity, economy, right, society, religion, culture. So these are the various aspects, and in fact we have to understand the, kind of a growth, a continuous growth. And in the process of understanding these continuous growth, right, that can be presented in form of continuity and change also. So we just need to first understand, or we need to identify the changes, and once we have identified the changes, then we need to understand what possible reasons might be, there for this continuity and change. And the second thing which is also very important, of course these are having certain outcomes or impacts, so we need to understand that impacts also. So that is why if you think that facts are very important in history, definitely not. The facts are important only to that extent to support your argument. So if you are writing any argument, so you just need some facts to support your arguments, and you are never rewarded for your facts. You are always rewarded for the arguments that you have been putting forward. And if you have put forward your arguments in such a way that it is getting support by certain facts, in that case definitely you are able to somehow convey your ideas in a more dominant way. So of course this is the right way of presenting the things. That's the reason because of what the understanding part is very important, right? And facts are only important to that extent. And in fact, I must say that wherever you have been writing arguments that cannot, if it is not supported by the facts, so definitely these are having less weightage. And it is true irrespective of the papers, whatever. Even in general studies, the answers that you have been writing, you need to write certain facts, because then only you'll be able to convey your idea in a more dominant way. One more thing I must say, that once it comes to understanding the subject, and if you think that every event should be understood differently or isolately, that is also not correct. Of course, when it comes to understanding the whole, all developments in human society, and in fact when it is a discipline being studied in university, so of course the historians and scholars are trying to develop certain models, and they are trying to fit such models and theories in different aspects, and that is how they are trying to explain the changes which are happening. And that's the reason because of what, if you think that for every particular segment or for every particular change you need to apply a different sort of understanding, that is incorrect. Definitely there are certain theories, there are certain models and theories, and of course by applying these models and theories you can understand it in a very easy manner. So for every event you don't need to apply a new model, rather than you'll find the repetition of the things, and that is why I was just talking about this concept building, right? And the one more thing that's very important, I was discussing this particular thing earlier also, that whenever you have been reading history, so you need to understand the basic objective of any discipline. So when you have been reading history, I did tell you that history is basically to understand our present, right? By understanding the past, we are going to understand our present, right? And at the same time, we are going to somehow make our future better. This is the basic objective. So that is why you have to learn that how to connect the things that happen in past into our present, or to our present, that we can shape our future future better. So you always try to understand history with this perspective. So if this perspective is missing, so I think you have not conceptualized history properly. So this particular temperament is very very required, and that is why roughly I'll say if you're not having the right approach towards this subject, in that case I think it's very tough for you to conceptualize the subject or score very good. And that is why instead of cramming or doing this ratification, what you are supposed to do, try to understand the subject, try to develop the concepts within you for the subjects. And once you have understood the concepts with in respect to the requirements, in that case definitely you are able to score more than 300. That's very easy, that's not very tough, right? The last section I'll discuss about the methodology or the pedagogy, right? So as I told you that this is how we understand the history, and that is why we'll find somehow the crux of everything here. So as I told you that it is more about understanding, and that's the reason that we are going to more focus on concept building rather than only dictating, and that is why we'll find least dictation, right? You'll find least dictation, and you'll find more about the concept building, right? And this is the reason because of what we are having a different kind of concept for the class, that is live and interactive class. So it is not a kind of video recording that we have forwarded to you, right? It's a kind of live class, and in fact after, like, the live class would be divided into 2 sessions, and after each session, right, we'll be having one interaction through Google Meet. This is what we have been following. So after every session of 1 hour, there would be a kind of interaction through Google Meet, and of course when it is about understanding, so the confusions, doubts are very common, and that is where the resolving these doubts are very important, and that's the reason because of what we are having this live and interactive classes. So if there is no interaction, there is no point of understanding the subject. There is no point of learning the subject in such a way that we have conceptualized it, and that's the reason because of what it's very important, right? And that one more thing, that instead of dictating a lot, that's a very common trend that can be noticed, that history is a static subject, right? Nothing is going to change, there is nothing as such to understand, so just to dictate it, right? And once you have dictated, and it has been expected from the students that now they are just going to vomit everything what is there in their notebook, and this is how they are going to score good. So I must tell you that this is never going to be applied. Like, in fact, understanding is so important, and mind you, the understanding is also different in all the different parts of of history optional. Like for ancient, you need a different kind of understanding. For medieval, there is a different kind of understanding. Modern, you need to understand it completely differently, and the same is applied for world also. So for each sections of history optional, you need to have a different kind of understanding, and then only you'll be able to do proper kind of justice with the answers that you have been writing in the optional paper, right? So that's very important. And of course, at the end, which is very important, that whatever you have learned, right, how to express them, because if you have you have learned a lot, you have conceptualized a lot, and then you are not able, because once you have conceptualized, then what is going to happen, you are going to learn the questions being asked, because the questions are never repeated, or if it is repeated, so the themes are only repeated, like the questions as it is never got repeated. So if the question has been presented or asked in a different form, so I think you should have the concept, then only you'll be able to understand the nature of the questions or the actual demand of the question. So once, okay, with the concepts, okay, fine, you are able to understand the real demands of the question, but at the same time, you need to learn that how to present your, present your ideas in a very concise way, in a very precise way, and that too, it should be very impressive. So for that, we need to have regular writing practices, and in fact, once you have been writing, so only the evaluation doesn't resolve the problems, rather you need to have a kind of, discussion with the person, with your, trainer, that once you are having this personal discussion, that is going to resolve the problems, and that is why we are having regular tests and one-to-one discussion. The tests which are going to be conducted even daily basis, right? So one question after finishing of the topic, maybe you are getting 1 or 2 questions, right? After the covering of half of the syllabus, like after fortnightly, there would be a test. That is the second thing, and of course, apart from this, you'll be part of the formal test series. So there are several stages or the layers of learning history, right? So this is how we are going to conduct our course. That's it. Thank you very much.